Guys, how much can you take from me? Just explain to me. How much drama can you take from me in one single channel? I'm just curious. Hold on. Ready? Check this out. Ready? So we got ready? I need something. Before I get this started, I wanted to make that as dramatic as I could possibly make it, okay? Because for me, Jesus Christ. Like, oh my freaking God. Mom, thank you for making this idea because I need to get this off my fucking chest. Also, ignore my hair, okay? Ignore my hair. I have not taken a shower yet. I wanted to make this video just to get off my chest and just fucking ventilate as much as I possibly can. Oh my God. Ooh, yes. So, government. I know, right, guys? How many times do I gotta speak about the government before they gotta fix something? Well, guess what? We're talking about government today. I spoke about drama. I spoke about my issues. I spoke about grace. I spoke about my demons. I spoke about this. I spoke about that. I've been postponing this shit for the past year. At least a minimum of a half a year. I need to speak about this. I want your guys' input. And please, comment below if you are going to answer this question, okay? And maybe respond back instead of the question on how you guys think about my issues I'm going with for the past 5 freaking years with the government screwing me, physically me, because I'm going to prove to you guys that they're screwing me more than anybody else that I can imagine right now. I'm not going to say this is the worst thing I've ever heard. I know that there's people going through way more worse things than I am right now. There could be people who are suicidal or going through a problem with their family, with somebody passing away, or in the middle of going through that phase to pass away. Let's say one of their cats is dying. I'm not going to say that this is the worst thing that's going on right now. But right now, I need to ventilate, and I'm really hoping you guys can listen to this problem, okay? So you guys are probably already knowing that I go through this one phase that I'm trying to do where I can get part of this program that's called Saratoga Bridges, and it's supposed to help people that are needing needs. Kind of like the program I explained back when I was in school. There's this thing called BOCES. There's 2 BOCES, maybe 3, in all of New York from the top to bottom. So, I'm just going to state BOCES. I'm not going to say which one. Well, that's a whole nother topic that I've already explained about, stuff like that. Well, there's this place called Saratoga Bridges. I don't exactly know where they're located, but I know it's called Saratoga Bridges. They're supposed to help with either being part of independent living, like getting out on your own, doing this, doing that, knowing I'm on SSI, and they're supposed to help me with that. They're supposed to help me get volunteer work so I don't have to lose my Social Security instantaneously or dropping like 50%. Right now, I'm around $760 on Social Security. I literally lose my whole entire $750, maybe less, around maybe $600, $500, but I'm still down the drain about $200 that I still have on my person for like rent or food or something like that. Well, for my sake, this program would help me get like food stamps and stuff like that, and transportation to get to my doctor's appointments and stuff, especially if my parents are at work or my mother's sleeping because she works overnight. I'm supposed to get help with transportation to my appointments, and I'm still waiting for that. Well, guess what, my fellow people? I've been waiting for almost 5 years to be part of this program, to even get somewhere to work, and to get off my lazy ass. Well, guess what? I haven't even passed phase 1 yet. I just got my paperwork put into the actual building after sending it twice. They lost it the first time. Somehow either the transportation that brought my paperwork ended up losing it, or they got my shit in the mail and they just chucked it somewhere and just completely lost it. I don't know how. But they lost it, and I had to send another one in, and they would not even state one word to us saying that, oh, hey, blah, 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 we're still waiting for paperwork. Or because we did send in the mail, like email addresses and stuff like that to Access VR, that I'm still waiting to get confirmation that, oh, I can be part of Access VR. Finds out that they don't normally work on people that are still part of school. Well, here's this proof that I'm explaining it to you right now that they're screwing me in the end. Ready? Guess what? You want to know why? Because one of my friends ends up asking Access VR if she can be part of it. Guess what? She was still in school when she got part of Access VR, and I graduated 3 years ago. Not counting my task. I physically graduated 3 years ago, went back to school for my freaking task diploma, and guess what? She was in freaking 11th grade, and she got part of Access VR. And I was trying my best to get part of that fucking program. And guess what? I am still waiting after almost maybe a year and a half. I want to say about a year and a half to 2 years since I put my application in for it. No sign of Access VR's either trying to get contact or even sending something in the mail saying you are accepted for Access VR. Well, I'm not going to explain. I'm not going to use the word for what the other program is. I'm just going to say independent living because that's more likely the whole scenario of what the program is for. Well, I physically cannot get my hands on that program until Access VR puts their left ass cheek to work and actually work on that shit. I need to hear the words, you are not accepted, or you are accepted. I cannot do anything without confirmation from them first. Well, that wasn't the biggest deal until I heard about one thing that they were trying to do. So out of all of New York State, this one program, which is independent living, ended up combining together into one building and I can't even pronounce the word. Society. I'm ranting so bad I can't word anything. They became one company. And that wasted almost a year of development. And they would not work on anybody until that was done. that wasn't like, the tragic thing. I understood that at first, but that was because they were working on just the capital, which is from Saratoga County to about, I want to say Albany, whatnot. I didn't mind that, But then last second, they decided that, you know what? We already got half of New York. Why don't we just work on the rest of the frickin' state before we had to work on anybody else? And that's where I got pissed off. I got extremely pissed off when I heard about that. I already held off for about a year. Now I gotta wait another 6 months. I'm like, oh my god. Now that that's over, I haven't heard one word from Access VR. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Hold on, before I get going again, I need to drink. Oh my god. This is blowing my fucking mind, guys. You don't understand. Oh my god. My mother just found out that that I'm going through has wasted 5 years of my life. I started while I was in school. My school ended up telling me, why don't you try to go for Access VR? And I'm like, why not? Finds out I forget about it until my person that comes to my house stated, hey, why don't you try this out? And I'm like, okay. Go to the event that showcases Access VR. Seems reasonable enough. They help to get your job. They help you do this. They help you keep your job. You get a job coach. Stuff like that. And finds out after almost a year and a half, I'm going to round it around a year and a half to a year because I know it has not hit 2 years of development to just send the shit in and say, golly gee, guess what? Joe, you have received your application, or we have received your application, you are now accepted. I have not seen that shit in how long? A year? Well, guess what? Them, the government, I don't give a shit. Right at this point, I'm going to state this right now, in front of you guys right now, okay? If I had a helicopter right now, I would find a way to get to them. I would snap at them. I would scream in their face. I would do this. I would do that. But no. I'm being as civil as possible, being as patient as possible, because I have gone through 5 years of going through all this shit. I am not ruining my chances. At this point, I've waited this long, I might as well be patient more, There's no way that I can physically lose my opportunity at this point. Or if nothing else could be as bad as what I'm going through now. At least for my life. You guys could be going through the worst shit you could ever imagine. But you gotta keep in mind, there's over 1 billion plus people on this planet Earth. You might be going through something worse than what I'm going through. But there could be somebody worse on top of you. And there could be somebody going through something worse on top of that person. And so on and so forth. You never know. Even somebody that has cancer. Or tier 4 cancer. Somebody else could be going through another version of cancer. You never fucking know, Because at this point, going through the government isn't as bad as going through, like, cancer or this or that. But you gotta keep in mind, guys, my friends are working. You guys might have, like, siblings and stuff like that to keep you company, and eventually they'll end up moving away, and you don't have your family anymore, you know? Well, knowing that I am sitting here in front of you guys, I would not be complaining if I had somebody or something to do. I've gone through every single place in my entire town to ask, hey, can you accept somebody to volunteer for a matter of 6 hours for 2 days each? Meaning, let me sum that up. So, that'll be 12 hours for 2 days. Meaning, let's say I go to work on Monday and go into work on Friday. 6 and 6. That's all I fucking want. I just want something to do. Ever since my great-grandmother passed away, I used to love to help her out, because that would help me get something to do by volunteering to help her with her house, or to shovel, or to rake, or to help her clean her house, or help her move around the house and stuff like that. But now that she passed away 2 years ago, I'm left with absolutely nothing. I used to work at Moe's after she passed away, and I used to work at Shane's Rib Shack that closed down, and I lost my job due to that. If they didn't shut down, I probably would have had something to do. I probably would be working, but no. The place had to shut down and close down because of stuff that happened, which I'm not going to get into because that's personal detail, and I can't explain that because it's business-based. But I lost my job due to that place closing down. Now I have nowhere to go. Everywhere in my town they give out more money than I can physically have. I can't just walk down the Praise Shopper or whatever you guys call it. You guys probably don't know what a Praise Shopper is. If you guys know what a Walmart is pretty much a smaller version of Walmart. And if you guys have this thing called Market 32, well, Praise Shopper was the first version of Market 32 before Market 32 took place, and then they reorganized everything and stuff like that. I can't just walk down to that place and say, whoop-de-doo. I'm going to walk down and say, hey, can I have a job? Or can I have an application? Or whatever. They'll hand me the application, and I put that application in. They see that I can only work 2 days that week. They're going to just go, ching. No thank you. Because they're not looking for somebody who can work 2 days a week. I have a lot of my friends, or at least maybe 2 of my friends, I'm sorry for that, I had a freaking itch, that was not picking my booty. You sick, twisted perverts. So, I have maybe 1 or 2 of my friends that is on SSI and has just about the amount of money that I get, and they work at Praise Shopper. But for myself, I have a back history of when I worked at Moe's or Shane's, I lost about $75, not $75, 75% of my money, maybe about 65%. I went from 7,500, totally 7,500. I am ranting us so much. I had $750, and I dropped down to maybe $300 to $400, all because I worked too much time. I'm not saying I want to rely on SSI, guys, but I don't want to lose all $750 just because I want a job. I want to slowly work my way away from SSI instead of losing all 100% of my money. If I was to drop out of my job, I would end up having to wait. Let's say I go to a job, I go full time, and I lose all $750. Okay? Ready? Here's my biggest issue, and you guys would understand. Okay? Imagine if I were to work 5 months and then quit my job. Knowing I have no SSI to back me up, I'm going to have to wait a full month to about 2 months worth of waiting, maybe tops 3 months, to get my $750 back. Imagine how much stress that would put on me. Anybody through SSI, I don't even know if you guys know what an SSI is. It's called Social Security Income, which is for disability. You can have a mental disability that reflects on your job, or you have a physical disability and you can't physically have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be in a wheelchair and you can't go to a job, you know? You can't work, you can't do nothing because you're either paralyzed from the waist down, or you physically have, I don't remember the actual name, but you have, like, your hand is like this and you can't move it. I forgot what it was called, but I have a lot of friends that have that, and I feel so bad for them. But that's something, it depends on the person, because they could be working with, like, either this hand or this hand, depending on which one is paralyzed and they can't move it that well. I consider still paralyzed because they can't physically move it all around like you can with this one. They're like restricted to, like, you know. I still consider it paralyzed. It might not be considered paralyzed, but I do. But that's what SSI is. It's supposed to help you at least start and learn how to maintain money before you get money, you know? You're only restricted to a certain amount of money for 1 month. They're going to want you to have your receipt and stuff throughout the whole year, which I did for the first time, and then I ended up stopping because I couldn't keep track of them. And once they see that, oh, you're wasting this on this and this and this more than you're supposed to be working on stuff that is more important than what you're getting, they'll pull that away from you, and you're not going to be able to get it back unless you can show them that you can use that money in the proper way instead of wasting it on, like, video games and stuff like that, or electronics. Unless you save. You can save your money. You don't have to waste all of your money, but you can save your money. That's how I got my VR headset. I ended up saving half of that I saved up $200, and my parents helped me with the rest. That's how I got most of these, to be honest. Most of these. I ended up saving, and I ended up using that money that I saved and put it to the side, and I was able to use that. Also, if you wanted to, you could pull that money out after you get all your stuff, and you don't want them to know what you're getting. You can swipe. If you get a credit card, I don't know if for some people if they can get actual their check and get cash, like that $750 actual cash, like a stack of freaking money, and use it that way. I don't know. Most of the time they would want credit cards just so they can have, like, if you swipe, they can just see what's on your bank account. I don't know. But it's just very stressful knowing I'm trying to not rely on disability. I want to be an actual human being, not being restricted to what the government thinks I am. I used to struggle with my disability, and that's why I made that video about Grace. I highly recommend you guys checking that out, because that's how I learned how to control my disability. Knowing that I've now learned how to do that, I'm trying to slowly work my way down from my medication so I don't have to rely on my medication. I don't want to have to rely on so much stuff, as much as that I'm going to this place that's for disability, but I don't want to rely on disability, you know? Mostly the most disability thing I don't want is I don't want to rely on Social Security for the rest of my life. I want to be able to, you know, work my way up to, let's say, I know this is the biggest thing in the world, but I want to be able to, let's say I go for full-time eventually in my life, and I'm able to get like $1,000 from, like, going to a business place and getting a grand every freaking month. No. That's one of the biggest things that's in my goal, but it's not one of my biggest goals in my life. I don't mind being considered disabled, but I don't want to be disabled for the rest of my life. But the way that the government is treating me, it's like throwing me around like a rag doll, saying, oh, you're going to be able to do this eventually in your life. Excuse me. I've been waiting for 5 years. What have you been doing on your ass? Have you just been drinking alcohol for the rest of your life? For the past 5 years? No. No. Try me. You've been sitting on your ass for how long? But yet I've been seeing all my fucking friends getting shit all they want. For myself, I actually started at the same time as my ex. If you guys remember that video, if you go back a little bit, you'll see a picture of me and my friend laughing as the thumbnail. That person was able to get shit, but she declined it. But yet she waited 2 fucking months, and she was able to get that opportunity, but she just completely threw it down the drain because she didn't want it. But where am I? 2 years later, after I found out she was able to do it, I'm still sitting on my ass. But yet my friend, now let's talk about the other one that was able to do it while she was in school. While the other one was still in school as well. But my ex was able to do that. But now let's talk about my friend. So my friend ends up asking, and she put the application in, finds out that this, before I go into detail, because I'm not going to go into personal stuff, but there's detail I really want to bring up. So, my friend is less disabled than me, because I'm going to explain this. She might have similar stuff than I do, and I'm not going to say that I'm worse than her, but when I was in school, she was more calm and mellow than I was. She was able to help volunteer in certain school areas. She was able to help with the disabled in the program I was in, which was School to Work, and she was all the way in a whole other area talking like she knew everything, and she really did. I'm not going to complain. She was able to work on cars and stuff like that. I used to be able to do that, and then I found out it was too difficult for me, so they ended up, the only opportunity I had left was to go to School to Work. And I'm like, oh my god, I feel so bad for myself. Because I've been wanting to do graphic design and stuff like that, to learn how to edit my videos and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that finds out that I'm more disabled than my friend. Fantastic. Great to know. Now, when I was in school, my counselor was like, hey, and I'm going to use Panda because I don't like using my real name. Hey, Panda, why don't you check this place out? And I'm like, okay. This place is called Access VR. And I'm like, okay, what is that? It's supposed to help you get a job, get a counselor, not a counselor, a person to talk to you that kind of counsels you to understand how to use this place. And I'm like, okay. Finds out that's not the case. 5 years later, look where I am. I went to this place that was supposed to be an event to showcase what Access VR is. I put my application in by handing it to the person after filling it all out, which is not really an application per se. It's not like you have a whole bunch of shit you gotta sign. It was like, put your email, put your phone number, put your guardian's thing, whatever. If you are technically of age, you can put your email again, just to confirm that, hey, this is your email. Sign it, and then hand it in. Year and a half later, haven't even received anything. Also, there was another paperwork to explain, hey, this is your disability, this is what you go through on a daily basis, what are you struggling with, and stuff like that. It's not like the most personal detail, like if you were to have an application to get a job, but it's enough stuff to give them an idea that you need fucking help. Finds out that the one person that they haven't received was the one person that's still sitting on their ass 5 years later. Like, I'm not gonna say I physically need help, but look, you guys, when was the last video I made? A week ago? Let's check this out, okay? Where's my phone? Check this out, guys. Ready? I'm gonna prove to you guys that my most recent video, I did try to release 2 of them, but they completely failed, and I understand that's something you guys seem interested in. I deleted them. Perfectly okay. Exactly a week ago, guys. Check this out. See? Hold on. See that? I know it's blurry, but do you see how it says 1 week ago? Yeah. 1 full week ago. Because I was crying my eyes out, I was getting stressed, I was going through depression, and I really want to get back into videos. But I physically can't do that if I'm going through fucking depression once again. Because I want to do something for you guys, but I can't do it if I fucking can't do anything for myself. I want to make this a job, but I can't do that if I'm going through depression. I know, most YouTubers do not live with their parents, except for fucking Morgs. I can't consider that because they're living with him. But besides that, that's still living with your parents somehow or some way. But most YouTubers don't live with their parents, and I understand that. Game Fox is going successful. He's over $1 grand, and I'm still stuck at where I was when I first met him. Except for like 100 more, but I'm not growing as fast as I used to. I'm trying to move on to other stuff, but I physically can't because I can't think of what to do if I can't physically do it. Because I physically cannot move on if I'm depressed. I told you guys I was going to come back strong and as healthy as possible a whole month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and look where I am. I'm physically making videos once a week. I'm making 2 videos one day and releasing it when I can. And now I'm at this point where I can only make videos when I feel like it. And I don't want that. I don't want to fail anymore. I honestly, seeing that the government is treating me like a fucking ragdoll, I just don't know what to do anymore. I feel like a failure, even though I'm not. And now I really want to start moving away from where I am, just to get away from the shit that I'm going through. And my friends are feeling bad for me, and I just don't know what to do anymore. I just don't. Oh my god. I'm starting to fucking cry on this video, and it's sad. So, let's go into my friends real quick, because I don't want to talk about this whole scenario anymore, but I do want to tell you guys how my friends are feeling on this whole scenario that I'm going through as well. So I spoke to that nerd in That Nerdy Adventures, and privately, without having to be on their live stream and just talking about it, just typing it down and stuff like that. They're starting to feel bad. Game Fox, I don't know what he's up to anymore. I hardly talk to him unless I'm in his Discord server. He's never messaging me. I think he's more a bit busy with like work and stuff like that, which I understand. I spoke to Queen Monica. She's slowly starting to feel bad. My friends in real life are starting to literally see myself going through more depression as days go by. I'm to the point where I don't know what to do with my life anymore, and I don't physically know. So I asked John the other day, "Hey, buddy, do you know what I'm going through now?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he feels really bad, and I'm like, should I go with my parents next week, and knowing that I'm now at this point I can't go, nor my parents, and they can't go down to on Long Island, and I'm like, shit. That one shit that I wanted to deal with just to get away from problems, I physically lost that opportunity to college funds. And they wanted to have the college people go because they're going back to college soon. And I'm like, fuck. And John was like, before we found that we couldn't go, he's like, yeah, it's beneficial for you to go. I'll watch the cats. And it's just sad that I lost that opportunity, and now we're going to be going somewhere else to make up for that during Labor Day weekend. And I'm like, thank you. I've also spoke to some other people that behind the scenes that I don't really talk to daily, that are from BOCES and stuff like that, that actually got a fucking place inside that program. And I can't tell you how fucking depressing it is that they're feeling worse than I have. That they're seeing me struggle to get into a program that they're part of. That... Fuck. That they're fucking part of. That I physically have been waiting for 5 fucking years, guys. 5 fucking years. And I'm still fucking waiting to get through the first phase. It's just horrible. It's fucking horrible. I can't, guys. I physically fucking can't. I physically want to snap at some people, but I don't want to snap and find out that I lose my opportunity for shitting on their company. I'm looking in the fucking camera right now, and it looks like I'm not crying right now. But guys, trust me. Right here. I have fucking tears all over my eyes right now. I'm sorry for swearing, guys. I try not to when I try to rant out, but right now, I really needed to talk about this. I know it's been 40 minutes, but trust me, it was all worth it. I normally don't cry in front of anyone, and the last time I cried on my channel was when I was talking about how YouTube and the algorithm is when it comes to my channel growing, and knowing how much I try to help you guys. But right now, honestly, YouTube right now is more of a hobby at this point, because I used to stream a hell of a lot. And now that I'm going down the drain and my channel's dying, and I really don't mind it too much, because I would rather have you guys go to someone else for the time being, but don't unsub to me, just to keep you guys occupied and stuff like that. But right now, I just want to fucking do something with my life. I just want to do something, you know? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to explain for the past 40 minutes? It's just, it's mind-boggling that I have to go through something like this and rant out to you guys because you guys will actually listen to me. And I just don't understand why the fucking government has to shit on people like this. And it's horrible. It's freaking horrible. And the government does not care. But yet the New York State senator wanted to throw money into the goddamn Special Olympics. But yet he doesn't want to pull it out of his goddamn pocket. He wants to pull it out of the government's pocket, but the government won't give it to him. But yet he has all this money in the world to throw into it. Even $100 would help with that. But yet he doesn't care. He wants to use the government money, not his money. If you want to physically give money to Special Olympics, seeing you have all this money, you should be using it out of your pocket. It does not change one thing if you use the government money. Unless the whole government by itself, meaning every single person throughout the government of New York State, throws something into that, then you consider it government money. But if you're pulling it out of government money for just one single person to give it to one to one company, which is Special Olympics, that shouldn't be coming out of the government. That should be coming out of your pocket, not the government. And that's why I'm stating the government doesn't care for the disabled unless it's coming from something else, from a third party, like Access VR or something like that. But no, look at me. I am a disabled being. I should have the help. But why are you still sitting on your lazy ass and doing that? I don't understand. But guys, I've been ranting out for almost 45 minutes. It's pushing 42, but still I rounded out to 45. I'm not going to be explaining this any further unless I physically need to rant out. I have really nobody but my friends to rant out to because right now my mother and father are out and they won't be here until tomorrow, I believe, unless they're showing up tonight. I don't know. They stated either today or tomorrow, but either way, I can't physically rant out to them unless it's over the phone, and I would rather do it in front of somebody, even though I'm going through the camera, or through the mic as well, to you guys, but I'm still physically saying it in front of you guys, over the goddamn computer, or whatever, but whatever. I do apologize for swearing so much again, but guys, for anybody who is at least of age that should not be swearing, don't take it from a channel that you watch. Just completely ignore the swearing if they have to. Because, yeah. I really need to rant out, and either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did watch all the way through, please state in the comments, Panda, please don't kill someone. Or something like that, okay? Something positive, alright? Something positive, because I really need some support before I kill someone. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys hopefully soon, alright? And Ragers, out, guys.